Hello and welcome to my channel, and today we are going to be looking at another Batman comic. Here we go. Okay, the last Batman issue I reviewed was issue 121, so my non-creative mind decided to look at the next issue, Batman issue 122. On the front, it shows Batman getting married to the Batwoman. This issue has a cover date of March 1959. All the stories in here were written by Bill Finger and penciled by Sheldon Moldoff. The first story is called Prisoners of the Sargasso Sea. This and the next story were inked by Charles Paris. It starts with Batman and Robin following a criminal named Blackjack in his submarine in the Batplane, but a storm hits the Batplane, causing the engine to break. The heroes drift for a day until the dynamic duo see the Sargasso Sea, a legend come true. The Sargasso Sea holds tens of crashed ships from all of history. There is some special mist hanging over the sea spot, which keeps its civilization there young forever and their clothes from rotting. Batman meets an ex-English pirate, a Roman soldier, and a Viking, all living in peace with each other. The three tell Batman and Robin there's no escape. They will live there together in peace, at least until Blackjack finds the place and attacks them all. For some reason, Batman being in a pirate story isn't as strange to me as him going to different dimensions or time traveling, even though those things happen more in Batman media than this. This is Blackjack's only appearance. His most interesting moment isn't even really about him. It's the moment when he asks the Jolly Roger, an ex-pirate, to join him, but the ex-pirate refuses, having changed his ways over the years, living in the Sargasso Sea like the two other out-of-time men. This, spoiler, is my favorite story out of the three in this issue. I love the turn of the characters stuck out of time. They talk and look the same as they did back in the century they're from, but they all get along. It was a smart idea. I mean, I'm sure it's been done many times in media for other stories, but this issue is the only one I can think of right now. There are more people out of time than just the three I mentioned, but they're just in the background characters. And how this story wraps up, instead of sending Blackjack to jail, the ex-pirate decides to keep him there, certain that Blackjack will be tame and live in harmony with them eventually. One last thing, this fight scene reminded me of the end of the Batman 1966 movie and the finale to the Archer storyline in Season 2 of Adam West Batman. The second story is about a new villain named Hijack. The story is called The Chris Country Crimes. This new villain is dressed as the Jack of Spades and leaves the Jack playing card at the scene of his crimes, the Cross Country Trucking Company. Whenever they carry valuable cargo, they get hit by the rogue, so he calls Commissioner Gordon for help, and Gordon calls Batman and Robin. One night, Batman and Robin follow a car to see if Hijack would rob them, and he does strike. Well, Hijack doesn't get his cargo, but still gets away. Batman and Robin then interrogate the driver for flashing his light 3 times, thinking it was a signal for Hijack, but it was just the truck driver warning another driver to slow down on the road for safety. Truck drivers do it to each other for some friendly help. This is another real-world thing I learned while reading a Batman comic, so now, Batman and Robin have to figure out how Hijack is able to know when expensive loot is being transferred and stop him and his goons. First things first, Hijack looks like he belongs in the Royal Flush Gang. At first glance, I thought this may be a story about that villain group, but no, it was just some new loser who only has this one appearance. And Hijack didn't have anything special. Actually, his origin is more interesting than anything he does. Hijack has no weapons, and his henchmen aren't dressed like him. Come on now, a big missed opportunity. This may be one of the coolest Golden Age Batman and Robin fights in comics I've read though. Robin climbs up a water tower and just dumps water all over a thug, and Batman uses a train barricade to knock guns out of 2 henchmen's hands. Batman figured out who Hijack really was and how to stop him by thinking he could read lips from a building across the manager's office. Hijack looked over the gap with binoculars to get the info on to discover when they were moving more valuables. His origin is that he was a normal robber, but after he was deafened for 2 years thanks to an explosion he made in jail, Hijack was able to learn how to read lips. And of course, since Hijack has no real superpowers, he was very easy for Batman and Robin to capture and contain. The next and last story, The Marriage of Batman and Batwoman, was my least favorite story here, even though it's what the cover promoted the issue with. The story was inked by Ray Burnley. The story opens up with Bruce Wayne taking Kathy Kane out on a date. Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson know that Kathy is the Batwoman. When Bruce leaves for his date, Grayson worries if Bruce gets married to Kathy, their partnership will be forgotten. Well, it happens. The two Bat people get engaged. On their next date, the bat signal flashes in the sky. Bruce Wayne leaves to go to the signal, and then Kathy sees the signal and leaves to go to the place as Batwoman. Right after a robbery they foiled together, Batman in costume meets her back at the Wayne Manor and reveals his identity to her. He then tells her he prefers to fight crime alone, telling her her crime-fighting career is done, basically. The next crime they foil, an accident happens when a thug turns on a wind fan and it blows Kathy's cowl. She's in one of Batman's old costumes at the time, since Batman didn't want her to fight crime, of course. And it's revealed to the world that Bruce Wayne is Batman since her identity was revealed, ruining his crime-fighting career. Robin starts yelling at Kathy because of it until he's woken up, revealing to the reader that this whole story was a dream. All that really happened was Bruce went on a date with her. Well, with it being all a dream and having no supervillain, this was a waste of time. I said this was my least favorite issue. I didn't even like it at all, so it was one of my most hated stories, I guess you could say. But fun fact, this issue marks the first time ever that the bat suit is worn by a woman. Kathy Kane, Batwoman, was the first lady who used the bat suit. However, it still all happens in a dream, so does it really count? A weird thing to point out, but I love the Tootsie Pops, and there was 3 ads in the issue that I was reading, so look at them. And there was an ad for Detective Comics issue 265, which also came out the same month as this comic. The names of the villains for the first 2 stories, Blackjack and Hijack, their names rhyme. Okay, just want to say that. Make that obvious. I wonder if that was on purpose, though. I had a feeling that the cover wasn't really what happened. The stories kept getting worse for me as I read. But hey, those are all my thoughts on Batman issue 122. Thanks for watching.